Good protection. Lines it up for DJ Moore to the end zone. Touchdown! Take the shotgun snap. Late pressure fired. Ball carries him. Ball is out. It's on the ground.
All right. Hello and welcome, everybody, to the After Week 1 BEARSKIFILM podcast show. And so, David, you know, with this season, I want to do something different. And I kind of want to do it every single episode. I would love to start it this way, just to stick to our guns and hold ourselves accountable. I want to start the show, every show, by asking you, at the beginning of the year, you predicted this to go 6 wins. How comfortable are you with your preseason prediction? Well, preseason meaning before the season started prediction of how the season's going to go after this last matchup.
Probably exactly the same.
I would
say we're on pace to do exactly what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to kind of realize, like, dude, I tried to say so many little things, like dysfunction doesn't just disappear. Guess what? It didn't. Like, we've seen this before, and we've seen it from this group of guys before. And the Vikings are a damn good team. I mean, they did everything right throughout the entire game, and that's what you're up against. And, of course, one mistake led to another mistake, I mean, at the end of the day, you literally have all 3 phases and the coaching staff all taking their fair share of blame in a total overall shit show in the second half in week 1.
Which is refreshing at the very least, if we're going to say a positive here. It is refreshing to see Ben Johnson being like, yeah, dude, I sucked in the second half. That can't happen again. So that's refreshing at the very least.
Yeah, self-accountability is important. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to go through it.
Well, if you're going to go through season prediction, if you're going to go through the season prediction, I think we can go back real quick and do the game prediction. Carl had a win 17-13. You had a win 20-18.
20-18, yep.
And I had a loss 24-17.
Yeah, by a touchdown, or I thought even more of it. Yeah, so you came closest to the actual result.
So I erased my chicken shit answer because I gave a prediction that I wasn't brave enough to stick to, 24-14. So then I put in 24-17 as my official. And, I mean, minus a garbage time touchdown, it would have been exactly that score, 27-17, 24-17.
You know, as we were texting, the one thing we kind of went back and forth on is actually what started the whole snowball effect of mistakes, right? It was the first, I would say, major whoopsie that you did that cost you. And it was something that, you know, at the end of the day, you wound up being right about. I mean, I'm more 50-50 on it, kind of. And that's that 4th down conversion. That was on the 3rd drive. So the way it went, and I put the whole highlight video together. So I thought it was the 2nd drive for some reason. No, the 1st drive, we went down the field, scored a touchdown. 2nd drive, we did go 3 and out. 3rd drive, we start going down the field. And, at that point,
Caleb's 10 for 10.
And Caleb's 10 for 10. And even though we went 3 and out on the drive before, it was still with a completion. It just came up short. You know what I mean? So, and I am somebody who is conservative with points. I like to stack points. Overall, that's always kind of been my philosophy. I hate when a drive kind of results in nothing. Like, it just seems like all that wasted effort. You know what I mean? I do understand who this coach is, though. And I think we're going to get the aggressive type and the aggressive play caller. And that's just who he's going to be. And I understand the call at that point. And the call itself, I mean, the play was a good play. At the end of the day, it was just Caleb throwing a terrible ball. I mean, there's a shot of it from somebody at the game. From
the end zone, yeah.
Yeah, oh my God, it looked bad. So I know you were completely...
I was inconsolable.
Yeah.
I was
You were
to put content for people to
unreasonably
understand.
aggressive.
Unreasonably aggressive is a very nice way of putting it. I was inconsolable for about an hour after making that call. You and Carl tried to talk me off the ledge, but I was not having it, and for a few reasons, like, and you know what's funny? It's like in that moment, I thought I was going to be in the minority when I was like, and then now I think it's a talking point on radio, and a lot of the things that I was saying at that moment have now been just kind of like, you can retroactively point to them and be like, no, I get to be a contrarian. It is just fundamental NFL football, and the context of the situation matters. And the reason I was so upset about it in the beginning was I didn't expect the Bears to be even that close, right? And I think neither of us really expected them to come out in that game, go up 7-0, right? And it is an arrogant choice to just say, we're going to go for the fucking jugular and go up 14-0 with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, right? And so I'll give credit to Ben Johnson in his rookie year and all that stuff in his very first game, but the guy's carried himself as a consummate professional and as a guy who feels ahead of where he should be as a rookie head coach. However, I'm gonna give him every benefit of doubt. I still don't think he was one of the first 3 problems that lost that game. I don't think he's in the top 3 of issues that lost that game. I don't think Ben Johnson was the number 1, 2, or 3 problem in that game. But that's a fucking ridiculous call to make with like 7 minutes left in the first quarter in a divisional game in week 1 when you play a divisional game in week 2. Like, if you had 10 for 10, and Paul, I think this was your point during the text thread, the if you can call it that, it was more of just a text lashing from me. Like, you're like, well, it's in rhythm. It's 10 for 10. They're hot. They're streaking. That in a vacuum is nothing. You need to be middle of week 6, week 7 to make cocky calls like that. You go up 10-0 in an interdivisional game, like, that's everything, man. And I thought it was a rookie mistake for him to just get up over his skis way too fast. It's almost like new toy at Christmas shit. He got way too excited, way too fast. But even in that moment, I'm like, this is unforgivable. And then not talking about the fact of all the analysts after the fact being like, there was clear miscommunication on that. It was 4th and 2. They tried to hurry it up. They got to the line. They were going to take advantage of a misalignment, and then they had to call timeout. And then they still came out and did 4th and 2. And I remember exactly my text to you. I was like, "What in the fucking Dan Campbell is this?" Like, that's some Dan Campbell shit. That shouldn't be Ben Johnson shit. Like, just because you came from Dan Campbell doesn't mean you need to copy him exactly. And that was some Dan Campbell type level shit that I did not agree with. And I was inconsolable for about an hour. I was furious about that first mistake because I knew it was going to come back to bite them in the ass. And sure enough, it did.
Yeah. And, I've been at those games. I've been at those games where we lose by 3. I put my time and effort into going there and witnessing that and living through those. So that is why ultimately I agree with you. I take the 3 points as well. That is my preferred choice. Dude, what I was saying, though, just to clarify it, is what you said at the beginning of that is you're hearing talking points on both sides now. Well, because there are reasons on both sides, and I always play devil's advocate, and the reasons I was giving were those devil's advocate reasons where there is momentum there. There are things that back up going for it. And so I understand, even though it's not my preference, I don't think I'm going to criticize that as much as you definitely did. And yeah, of course we wind up losing by 3 points, but there's also a field goal you missed, right? Like there's plenty of other opportunities. The thing that pisses me off the most, right, is
real quick to interject. That's why I don't put the game on Ben Johnson as like number 1 idiot of the game. He's like number 5. So I agree. The game didn't get lost there, but the first wheel fell off there.
David, for me, it's when you're up 11 with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter, and you have the opportunity to really put this game away and control it. Dude, any kind of points at that moment, right? Like, dude, you go up 14, you got a 2-touchdown lead, you feel really good midway through the third quarter. If you go up 18 midway through the third quarter, you now control that game. Like, you have an opportunity to put this thing away. And what do we see? We saw them just come out flat. And that was after the defense already bailed you out. You see what I'm saying? You're up 11 because the defense bailed you out with a pick six. And so they also gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter and wound up collapsing. I mean, but offensively, you just couldn't get it done. It was just pre-snap penalties, holding you back, just no third down conversions, really. I mean, it just really went flat. And I hate it.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack from this game, and I honestly, like, mid sentence, I kind of had like a thought process of like, what would you rank? Like, we can just do it casually as like the number 1 through whatever list of things that went wrong in that game, and then we can stop and break it down a little bit. But for me, the number 1 issue in that game was probably special teams, and we can break that into subcategories. You know me. I fucking hate Cairo Santos for about 3 years now. I've openly talked about it. I don't understand the Cairo Santos, like, aura, the love for Cairo Santos, the statistics that support him as being one of the most accurate kickers. We've watched Cairo Santos, and he's not fucking good. There's a problem with Cairo Santos. And, like, if I get told one more year about him being one of the most accurate kickers in the league, I'm going to lose my mind. Because I get it, whatever, extra points, 35-yarders, you can be as accurate as you want. A high school kicker can fucking kick 35-yarders. I'm sorry, it's just a fact. Not at that rate, but Cairo Santos is my number 1 on the shit list this game.
The biggest issue with him, and it was very telling in the press conference after the game when Ben Johnson was asked about it. He asked Cairo, "Can you get it out of the end zone?"
Out of the end zone.
And Cairo said yes.
Yeah.
And they went with it. Okay. The spot there does not matter. Dude, you kick that thing out of bounds.
Through the end zone.
Through the end zone. Out of bounds, let him start at the 45.
And have 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
You need a 3 and out. And you need a time. The time you need that 2-minute warning. Like, that's what it came down to. And part of that was because of a poor challenge that you just wasted a timeout, right? So it's multiple things now kind of feeding into this last second situation. And in the last second, you trust the guy at his word, and he doesn't get the job done, even though he thinks he can. And that concerns me because I'd rather have him be honest and say no. And it's like, okay, kick it at their coach. We're going to start at the 45 here. Like, you know what I mean? Dude, it's
by the way, real quick, one of the funniest comments I've ever seen. Clearly, either you're trolling or you've never seen us talk about Caleb before. We talked about Caleb having a 4-game leash. So, shut the fuck up.
Right. And that was after we were Justin Fields haters and Caleb lovers.
Yeah.
And, dude, this is what I'm saying. Like, I loved it, man. I loved 3 weeks ago or whatever, or 2 weeks ago when we were being called clowns. Dude, it took one
thinking
game.
That Caleb,
I told everybody
Caleb can't be the guy.
Everything here has changed. If he doesn't result with W's on his record, and he needs a lot of them, he will be the next domino to fall. Period. Like, it sucks, but that is how this league operates.
Ben Johnson has a longer leash than Caleb does.
1 week.
No matter how accurate it is, it's just a fact. Like, Ben Johnson gets to stay here longer than Caleb. It's just how it goes.
If the kid winds up with 10 wins this year, somehow, as a miracle, he's still a losing quarterback at 15 and 22.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you know what's a fun fact? Caleb
sucks.
has lost. You know what's a fun fact? Caleb has lost to Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and JJ McCarthy.
You know, it's funny because I remember.
And the only one he hasn't lost to yet is Bo Nix.
I remember you saying, too, that we don't even need him to be the best one. Even if he's the second or third best quarterback out of this class should be good enough. But you can't do this. And then
You can't be the worst one.
dude, listen, there's
So let's
okay. So
Caleb gets his blame soon. Who's number 2? Special teams is atrocious in every
special teams is atrocious because of where you expected them to be when we did our expectations for where these
top 5 special teams in the league.
Where these things, yeah, exactly. We all said top 5, right? Like that's kind of where they're
and they kind of lost the game for you. The special teams lost the game more than that's why, like you talk about, you're a big fan of 3 phases of the game. Like,
yep,
offense, defense, special teams. Special teams, defense played well. Offense played okay for where they were supposed to be. Special teams is so fucking far behind where they're supposed to be that I would blame them the most on 3 phases of the game. Like, they lost the game more than anybody else. So, like, who's your number 2 person or, like, unit to blame?
Ultimately, the person that makes the most impact in a game is the quarterback. And although
it was going to be my number 2 too.
Yeah, although I thought the hot start was very positive. Obviously, the scripted plays worked well. There was still a lot of just basic missed throws, a lot of I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it's your unit. You got to lead it. They stalled out a lot. It did not look crisp. Yeah,
he looks so nervous out there. He looks like he's trying to not make mistakes so badly that it feels very Trubisky under Nagy right now, where it's like, I'm trying to do what you say, man. Whether it's good or not, he's just trying to be a soldier right now, and it kind of neuters him. Not necessarily to a bad extent. I just don't think that this marriage is going to be like, unless Caleb just figures it out. Like, I just don't see this marriage working long term. I don't think he's dead in the water yet. But that leash conversation has to get brought back up. It has to get brought. Like, I mean, if we're like 6 games in and this guy doesn't break 200 yards and he's missing wide open deep balls that Ben Johnson is scheming up perfectly, like the post route to Adunze, like the corner route to DJ Moore, like if this guy can't throw more than 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, and I said this to you like 10 minutes before kickoff, and we never brought it up on the show. Has everyone just chosen to ignore the fact that Caleb's deep ball is fucking atrocious going back to last year?
Yeah, I think so. And I think because when you look at
it's fucking atrocious.
It is. No. And the results are the results, right? So like you have a very valid point and a very valid case.
Not point. Can I give you a fact? Per analytics, not PFF, like per analytics, of players that overthrow their receiver, not underthrow, overthrow. Since the beginning of last year, Caleb leads the league with 52 overthrows.
I'm sure he also leads the league.
He leads. Stats. He does. He leads the league in overthrows. The second closest has 29. He almost doubles the amount of overthrows in the league since he's been in the NFL. The guy has the worst deep ball in the NFL in a year and a game.
Yeah. I think there's plenty of spots in his game that can improve. And that is definitely a glaring one. It sucks because I look at the end result and David, he was our leading rusher.
By a mile.
That's a big problem, especially when you drafted a running back in the 7th round. And that's a big position to need right there. And game 1, your quarterback's the leading rusher. It's a point that Carl would love to make and really harp on that importance of that running game. And yeah, when you needed to close a game out, when you needed to take control and control the clock, you couldn't do it. You're still scrambling around like a chicken with your head cut off. Became very one-dimensional, right? So, yes, here it is. Yes, time.
There she is.
I knew he was listening.
There she is.
David, that definitely showed up though. That lack of running game definitely showed up.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't overanalyze if it was holes not available for the running backs or if it was the running backs being subpar. I think DeAndre Swift averaged 3.1 yards per carry on 17 carries. So that's not good enough, obviously. I don't know. I didn't see very many running holes. I think one of the things, and I'm not going to take credit for this, Hogan Johns did it. The fact that all you did all summer was sing the praises of Luther Burden being ahead, Colston Loveland doing a great job, Ozzie Trupillo fighting for the left tackle, and then Kyle Monungai coming out and being, this like awesome 7th rounder, Ruben Hippolyte, Shamar Turner. I don't think a single rookie made a fucking play this entire game. And not to say that rookies need to come out and save games, but I just don't understand what's the point. What's the innovation here? What's the point of like doing all of this work to change the culture and change the scheming of the team when it looked exactly the same as last year?
It was going to be one of the things I wanted to ask you tonight was how much did Colston Loveland impact the game? Being a top 10 pick. Because from a top 10 first round pick, I expect impact.
2 catches.
I do.
2 catches.
You don't say.
So
yeah,
that's kind of my thing is like, I don't understand. Like, this is why I told you this season kind of disinterests me, because it's going to be this weird transition middling year where we're going to figure out what works and what doesn't. And I would like to figure out the 2 or 3 things that work really, really great on this team. The problem is that, like, even if Colston Loveland ends up with 30 catches on the season, he's going to be the starting tight end next year. And it's going to be moving the goalposts and making excuses. And Luther Burden will be a starting receiver. And Ozzie Trupillo will be a lineman, whether or not he's a fucking good draft pick or not. And Shamar Turner will get another year after not playing for the whole season. Right? So it's just kind of this weird, frustrating thing where, like, week 1, I guess, like, there's a lot to unpack, but I mean, if this is just a microcosm like of what's going to happen this year, I hope Ben Johnson gets his feet under him and gets his feet wet a little bit more, and you get to see a little bit more of that innovation. But like, talking about point number 3 of like what went wrong in this game, I don't even think Ben Johnson's there yet. Refereeing was horrible. It was atrocious. I think the Bears did get the game borderline stolen from them. I would put refereeing at number 3 as what are the reasons this game went poorly. And then quickly at number 4 is just second half adjustments were awful. Second half adjustments were non-existent. This was a rookie head coach that got his pants pulled down by Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores in the second half. And not to say that's a necessarily like horrible thing. It's kind of to be expected because he's a rookie head coach. And we're talking about, this is what we said in the game predictions. You're talking about Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores. And you're just like penciling in the fact that Ben Johnson is going to just outsmart all of them. Unbelievable. But second half adjustments were pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, I want to address this comment real quick. Watch the Kurt Warner review. This wasn't as bad as it first looked for Caleb. I did watch that review, and I'm not by any means saying that I know a sliver of what Kurt Warner does, but there were some times where like the ball was dumped off and a wide open throw was missed, and Kurt Warner gave him positive points. And it's just like, okay, well, I disagree with that. I think where I'm at with this quarterback in this moment, in this situation, I expect him to hit the wide open throw. It happened on like David, like the second or third play of the game, even the one where he dumped it off. Yeah, right, exactly. So there was definitely plays that were left on the field that dude, this is the NFL. You gotta take those opportunities. You gotta anticipate those opportunities. So the second that you get them, you're excited. You know what I mean? And you make the right read. Period. Like, that's what it should be. And yeah, so my third thing is similar to yours. It's not, I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say refereeing, but it is just the penalties in general. I mean, what, 11, 12 penalties, 120 plus yards? That's a whole football field. And what winds up being a 3-point game at the end of the day. I mean, you could look to a lot of different things, but then an unexcusable one for me is definitely the pre-snap penalties. Because those, dude, I felt for the situation that the secondary is in, health-wise with all the injuries and everything like that, they played decent enough. I mean, we got a pick 6 at the end of the day. And so, what can you expect? Yeah, a couple pass interference calls, those are going to happen, even against the best corners. And we're, out there running the D squad and still able to kind of hold our own. So, I can't hurt them on that too much. But the offensive line pre-snap penalties, those, I don't have an excuse for them, man. I don't.
I think the two positives that I thought, like if we're going to go into positives, like I was impressed by both sides of the trench. So like the offensive line played pretty fucking well, man. Like Joe Tooney really helped Braxton Jones. The sacks were non-existent. Like there was next to no sacks. There was 1 sack in the whole game, I believe, on Caleb Williams. Dio Odengbo played well. Grady Jarrett played well. Jervon Dexter played well. Montez Sweat played well. So the trench play wasn't something that I thought was a problem, but like you said, like the schematic stuff of it all, and the trench play issues in terms of penalties for sure. That's stuff that I hope gets cleaned up, but it is weird that like a guy like Ben Johnson who preaches about accountability and being tight and being, aware and all that stuff. Like it's the first week. I'm going to give that some grace. But I was impressed, generally speaking, about line play. I thought that was like a good positive out of the game.
For me, I mean, it's good. It's going to be that opening drive, ending it with a touchdown. Just the whole first quarter in general, I thought was pretty good. But 10 for 10 is a good thing for sure. I like the fact that you came out and at least ran the script and executed there, but that would be my first positive. I mean, dude, they're not big positives. It's hard. Yeah, I wasn't going to join you till David started lying, is what Thai says. It's hard to pick positives out of a crappy game. I mean, dude, that's what it winds up being. It sucks, but so that would be my first positive. My second positive would be the fact that midway through the third quarter, you were in position to where you can win this game. You were up 11 points, and that's a good spot to be in against this type of team. So at least you gave yourself an opportunity there, and I mean, that is a good thing. You failed after that, crazy style, but at one point you were in a very winnable point in the game in the second half. So.
To say here, like the line wasn't great on offensive on running the ball. DeAndre Swift didn't play super well. I think at the end of the day, also I'm gonna end up being frustrated with like how pathetically these wide receivers are being used, and I think we can bring up the conversation. I don't want to harp on it too much, but how many more weeks of this type of play with the quarterback are you gonna tolerate before you try to put in a quarterback that can distribute the ball a little bit better and give it to playmakers a little bit better? Because I'm not talking about the skill. I'm not talking about the talent. Like Caleb Williams had me absolutely locked in, sucked back in. I was 10 for 10. I couldn't wait for a top 5 Caleb Williams conversation the next day. I literally said that in the text messages. Like 10 for 10 with 50 yards rushing. Like I couldn't wait for the Mahomes comparisons. But by the end of the game, the ability to get the ball to playmakers in space and actually distribute the ball was rough to watch, man. Like I don't think it's not a 0% chance to bench Caleb. It's not a 0% chance. I'm not saying it's right away. I'm not saying it's within 6 games. I would say like 6 to 7 games. But if you see this type of performance for 6 straight games, which is not unrealistic.
That is the debate we have with Carl and Nicholas. You could be on that side of it. I know Carl is too. He says there's no way, but I mean, I think for me, David, I'm going to mute you because I can hear myself echo. So.
Sorry.
So I think for me personally, you lose before the bye week. You lose after the bye week, dude. If you're like 1-5 at that point, right? Or if you only have one win up to that point, I think as a coach, you look at it and go, well, what else can I do? We had the bye week to try and figure it out. We lost before. We lost that. Like at some point, you got to start winning. So like, I don't even care how it happens. Those W's are really just all that matters. And unless you find a way, like we said, this game, number one thing that failed you was special teams. Right. And that had the highest expectation to perform well as well. So doesn't matter. It's going to fall on Caleb. It's going to fall on Caleb. And the fact that an entire season minimum, I don't know, man. If this looks really, really, really bad, I just do not see it being like a Bryce Young thing where they let it right out for 7-8 games. I mean, I just don't think so. If it's really, really bad by midpoint of the season, you're going to say we have to try something different. I mean, you just are. It's what
I also just don't understand the Ben Johnson support versus the Caleb support. Those things can be the same, but they can also be very contradictory type of things. You know what I'm saying? You can't, if you love Ben Johnson and Caleb together and the idea that, I get it. You're just saying that they're married together. I've entertained that idea. I get it. Ben Johnson requires Caleb to matter for the next 10 years so that Ben Johnson can be there. But if you think that Ben Johnson is the smart one in the room and that Caleb is just constantly missing fucking throws, but you're like, well, Ben Johnson can't bench him because they're married to, you can't think both things at the same time, potentially. If we watch evidence of 5 to 6 games of Caleb Williams just missing open fucking throws, and then you love Ben Johnson, then you need to trust Ben Johnson to just be like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry, man. You need to sit the fuck down and watch this get done. Because maybe somebody else will throw a deep ball here. I'm not saying this game wasn't evidence of that, but it definitely didn't help Caleb. We all would have preferred Caleb to throw a pick or 2 in this game, but take a deep shot than be fucking Mitch Trubisky check down Charlie.
Now, I don't think it's going to go that way. I just want to point that out, too. I think Caleb is going to improve. I don't see him having the 200-yard passing game every year. I'm just saying if it doesn't and you continue to lose, that will be your fall guy. It's just what it is.
Yeah, your fall guys. The first fall guy in the chain of dominoes is Caleb Williams, and it's not even close.
And welcome, Carl, who's going to...
How's it going, guys?
How you doing, man? Thank you for joining us.
Been better, but like I said in the chat, heard David start to lie, so had to put out the fire.
Let's hear it, man.
I'm taken aback. I mean, you said that the trench play was actually above average, stand out, whatever you said. I mean, I thought it was kind of bad. The offensive line was better than the defensive line, but specifically, I do have an issue with the defensive line as far as, you have this young quarterback on the ropes. He just threw a pick 6. Obviously, your offense couldn't help you grab the game by the balls. Literally what I texted you guys, we need a running game to grab this game by the cock and balls. Couldn't do it. I heard Paul say that's the first thing I heard. You couldn't stop the run. Talk about second half adjustments. They said, okay, our quarterback's struggling. We got to figure it out. Obviously, I think he threw the pick 6 after halftime. But then he's like, you know what? We got to just wipe the slate clean, get the water bottle, get all the shit off the whiteboard, wipe it clean. Jordan Mason, down your throat, Jordan Mason. Where was Grady Jarrett? Where was Gervon Dexter? There was none of that. So that's the problem that I had. Fortunately, I predicted it, right? Bad run game. Why are we taking a tight end instead of a defensive lineman? I don't understand it.
Carl, would you say that the Bears had a good run game, game 1?
No, it was abysmal. And the statistics would say otherwise.
They outrushed the Vikings. So what are you talking about?
Right. Well, eliminate the Caleb Williams crap then. Your starting running back had 3 yards per carry. Jordan Mason had 4.5. So then
the Bears had 20 more yards from their running backs than the Vikings.
That can't be correct.
No. I think total yards, they're actually only about 5 yards apart. The difference is how those yards came, because Caleb was our leading rusher, and the other difference is when they came.
Because J.J. McCarthy had 30 yards rushing.
That's the statistic that I need, Paul. I need to know the second half production from Jordan Mason specifically. That's where it felt like he took over the game.
I feel like that's so picky and choosy, though. Because
it is. But I mean, it's
Caleb Williams had more rushing yards on less attempts than DeAndre Swift. That's inexcusable.
Correct.
Jordan Mason on 15 carries.
Yep.
Doubled the production. McCarthy only added 25. I mean, they only gave up 120 yards rushing. That's not bad. But again, you had the game by the ball, so to speak,
if you're counting
momentum-wise.
away J.J. McCarthy's, they had 90 yards rushing, and you said that the defensive line was borderline abysmal?
In the second half.
They gave up 90 yards rushing?
In the second half, yeah. The defense in the
90
first
yards
half was
rushing,
undeniably incredible. The first half was fine. But the second half, you just kind of let it get away from you. And you knew kind of what was coming. You were stopping it, and you just couldn't continue that.
And so, unfortunately, this is where I go to, well, what were my expectations? And my expectations for this defense versus the outcome was that the defense overperformed what I expected.
In the general sense?
Yes.
Yep.
And so, therefore, after pick 6, I can't expect them to still then do everything.
You pulled it right out of my mouth, Paulie. This game shouldn't have been that close.
That's why you go for 4th down and 3.
Without a pick 6, the game was 7-4 at a pick 6. What are we talking about? It takes one play like that to change this game. But you don't get to choose that. It's a fumble, it's a special teams fumble, it's a return, it's a pick 6. We're not talking about controllable things like 4th and 3 at the 23-yard line. That's arrogance. We're not talking about like, I can control a 4th and 3 and my offense is humming. No. We're talking about these are the interdivisional games. These are the interdivisional games that get lost by 3 points on a fluke play, like a blocked punt, which the Bears also did, a blocked field goal, like a missed field goal. So like, Carl, in your power rankings of fluke plays, that 4th and 3 is like number 7. You missed a 48-yard standard field goal. You didn't take a 35-yard field goal. You got a blocked punt. You had a pick 6. Out of your estimation of fluky plays that you got to take in a fucking divisional game in week 1, a 4th and 2 opportunity is number 5 off the top of my head. So like, no, that is not a play that is fluky and the one that you got to risk it for to win this game. That is your bread and butter. Take that fucking field goal, get ahead 10-0 automatically, and hope to Christ that the rest of your team can kind of support you in keeping a 10-0 lead. And I just named 4 plays off the top of my head. I bet there's 3 to 5 more that you can name if you deep dive. So no, the defensive line played above its standard. The offensive line played above expectation. You lost this game in the second half coaching, and you lost it on fluky plays with shitty special teams.
David, can I just piggyback off that? You lost it on coaching. Guys, I forget which game it was. There was a game where Bill Belichick took a safety on purpose so that he could punt the ball to the other team, get across the field, get the 3 and out, and now they're punting backed up in their own end zone, and he got the ball at like the 50. Instead of being backed up in his end zone, he decided to take a safety, and it led them to winning the game because he's a damn good coach who knows what he's doing. Little things like that, little errors like that, like, man, I understand he asked Cairo, can you do it? And Cairo said, yeah, I would say you should know that he can't do it because I think we all knew. I know when he came up to kick it, and the plan is to kick it through the end zone, I was like, uh-oh. That was my first reaction. I know that guy's leg strength. He's got an obvious fault. Like, he is
what they should have done is kick it short of that landing zone. And again, it all sounds like this falls on Richard Hightower for not being able to stand up. No, I mean, if you kick it out of bounds, there's a chance that the refs could do 45 some bullshit with that too.
No, they start at the 45, and you need a 3 and out. Like, kick it out of bounds.
During my 2 hour in front of the landing zone would be better.
During my 2 hour tirade, when I absolutely just belittled Carl and Paul for 2 hours, I have acknowledged to Carl, I apologize for Monday night. I had hope enter my brain, and I couldn't handle it. I disconnected from my body.
That was very clear.
I told you early on, like, yeah.
The last time we talked together and you were pissing all over Caleb Williams and saying he was going to get benched after 4 weeks, that's when I knew you had hope. So.
Am I wrong? Not yet. But
I agree with that.
I have reread the entire text thread. Even in my darkest days, I wasn't wrong for a fucking hot second. If that coach did not say Ben Johnson and that coach just said Matt Eberflus, this would have been an unforgivable loss in week 1. Unforgivable. But everybody is ready to move the goalposts and give Ben Johnson benefit of doubt. And I'm willing to give maybe 10% of what everybody else is giving, because I understand it's his first week. He got a little bit excited. It's whatever. But, like, if he's acknowledging his mistakes and acknowledging how badly he coached that game, then you better fix that shit, because it's the NFL. And, Carl, you can fucking massage it all you want, but Paulie and I are big on this shit. It's the NFL. It doesn't take that long to get hired or fired, as much as you have emotional investments, as much as you like a guy. It just doesn't fucking matter. I love Ben Johnson now. I have been convinced very quickly to love Ben Johnson now. Whether or not I like the fucking guy is irrelevant. If this should happen to Matt Eberflus, it would be just another fucking notch in his belt of coaching malpractice and losing a game by 3 at home, week 1, to a divisional opponent that you totally could have won. And right now we're talking about fucking the 6 other things that could have went wrong or right, rather than being like, this was a totally winnable fucking game. And the only reason I'm so upset is because I went into this not crediting Ben Johnson enough. I thought this was a completely unwinnable game going into week 1. I had them losing by fucking 10. And they gave this shit to you, and you couldn't figure out a way to let them fucking lose it. You needed to find a way to give it back to the fucking Vikings. That's why I'm so upset. If this was a different name in the fucking Chiron, and when it scrolls over Ben Eberflus, like, you would all be losing your minds as much as I would. But you guys David, are like, it's fine.
But David,
it just seems way too
No,
extreme.
I hear you. It's not fine. The standard should not change based off who fills the position. And yeah, your standard for your coach, like for mine, I really expect like perfection out of coaches when it comes to game decision moments. I think challenges are important. I think situational football is extremely important, and I expect a coach to make the right calls that result in success and wins. However, there is a fault to your logic, because it's like, how many times did we see Matt Eberflus do that? Yes, it would be another notch in his belt. But in week 1 of year 1, dude, there's like 9 of those ahead of him that we all put up with, right?
So is this the first notch in Ben Johnson's belt?
So that's where I was going with this. Part of the reason Ben Johnson has won me over is there's been very little red flags, in my opinion, up to this point. Here they are. These are red flags for Ben Johnson, and they finally appeared for me. Like, no, you need to handle that better. Do I think he is smart enough to self-analyze? Do I think he is good enough to correct those things? Yeah, I think, like you said, David, he said it. I can't do that. yes, take accountability. It is fixable. Fix it. But yeah, red flags for sure. This game, they came out. There they are. Don't build those up, man. Like those are bad. Yeah, I don't want to see games lost due to coaching malpractice. Like that is not how you should be losing games. And if that's the case, we got very long-term problems ahead of us, right? So
regardless of him acknowledging or not, like I respect the fact that he acknowledged it and he's like, I can't do that shitty of a job play calling in the second half. Agreed. Fixed it. Like, fix that shit. It's got to get fixed. Like, I almost want to pick the Bears to beat Detroit next week because I think Ben Johnson is so fucking smart that he can learn that much from 1 week. I really do. I really think he's that fucking smart. I think he can learn so much about an NFL game and how to manage it. Like, if Ben Johnson comes out next week and throws another 4th and 2 in the red zone, I might fucking blow up both of your phones. It's your phones will overheat.
Yeah.
David's
trying to figure out how to mitigate that issue already.
His spouse's phone and have both phones. One calling you, one calling me, and he's just going to be yelling at both of us at the same
just
time.
Just fucking yelling at both phones.
Yeah, just with the phone.
Just yelling and yelling and
yelling.
Golly.
Guys,
Carl, what are you sharing here? What is this? Injury
That's
report.
just the injury report. It finally came out. So, again, your fabled Grady Jarrett, he's just straight up do not play. That could be a veteran off day too, but everything is kind of trending badly. I guess TJ Edwards is improving. Did you guys talk about like the secondary? For the quality and level of players, like our second and third stringers playing, like they actually did fine. I was really impressed with them.
Highly impressed.
They said they over.
Al Harris is probably your best coach on this staff, pound for pound.
Yeah, I would have to agree. So Jalen Johnson appears to be full go, so he's going to be playing. You're going to be taking away Nahshon Wright, but Nahshon Wright, he's not injured technically. He's not even on his injury report. It was a scary-looking knee, whatever he had. But I don't know. You're talking about going into Detroit and beating the Lions, and you'd be willing to wager that Ben Johnson could do it because of how much he can learn. But I don't know if you guys watched even a minute of the Lions and the Packers game. The Lions, that game was not close in the slightest. It was a true textbook definition blowout outside of a miraculous Isaac Tesla catch. The score was embarrassing. So I don't know if Dan Campbell can allow his team to come out in the home opener and let themselves just get destroyed. So I'm very skeptical. I think that you're going to see 75% run plays in the first quarter from the Lions. And I'm not going to bet on the Bears for that. That's my big issue with this defense still.
Gibbs had 18 carries against the fucking Packers. They were slamming their head into the brick wall that is the Packers defense. And they didn't care. They didn't care.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So it's not going to be
this ain't
a technical adjustment. This is going to just be a rah-rah, caffeine-induced, man-on-man. If you got to bite their kneecaps, that's going to be, again, another textbook definition. Someone's going to get their kneecap bit. It's going to be just brutal, and that environment is going to be raucous.
Carl, you're going to be watching a lot of man-on-man at 12 o'clock on Sunday. I'm going to tell you that much.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Carl loves his man-on-man.
Okay, Taylor.
That's right, guys. Well, we're in the preseason, and we're going through our season predictions, and we're saying these things. The responses are like, but Ben Johnson's God. He can't fail. There's no way. No, this is his showing out party. He's going to show the Lions why they're missing him. And it's so ridiculous because then we get here and it becomes obvious. It becomes obvious quick, right? Like all that little fairy tale stuff just goes right out the damn window instantly. And you're looking at a team that led this division last year. You're looking at I told you, these guys don't just forget to play football. Like, the Lions are no walk in the park here. Like, they're a damn good football team, and turns out we have a problem with those still because we take it out of our own way and just
May I throw out a hypothetical situation just to see how you guys respond to it?
Yep.
Like, I can see Ben Johnson getting too emotional, the robot computer that is Ben Johnson, and being a little bit too emotional about coming back to Detroit and fucking throwing out all these awesome little lateral plays and all this shit. And this team is just not ready to be there yet. And you're going to have Luther Burden fucking tossing a backwards pass to Roschon Johnson or some shit on 3rd and 11. And that fumble gets picked up by Detroit and run back for touchdown. Like, I just see that shit in my mind's eye so hard. Of Ben Johnson trying so hard to beat the team he left. And throwing out his playbook. And throwing out all the special things that he's got going on. And Detroit just being like, dude, we know what you're doing. You were here for 2 years. You beat us in real football or it doesn't count. And that's kind of the game script that I'm playing in my head.
You know,
yeah, I just disagree with the idea that he would do something that extreme. I do think that you could probably look for one kind of out-of-the-box weirdo play. We kind of saw it with... I'm surprised they didn't run it. They ran a setup play where they had Luther Burden come on some sort of end around, and they ended up just running a dive up the middle to DJ Moore. By the way, I hate that experiment. It's so trash. Just give the carries to Kyle Monangai and see what you have there.
One of the most ridiculous
handing the ball
things
out
I've
to
ever
DJ
seen.
Moore.
One of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
Yeah. But yes, I could see some silliness to an extent. Throwing it all out, I can't subscribe to that. If the Lions defense is able to come up with anything like really positive, like a pick six, a return for a fumble, that could really put that game on ice really quickly, in my opinion.
You know, one of the things that kind of just overall is bothering me is like, even on my way home today, I was listening to ESPN, and one of the things that they said was, you might have a situation where you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole when it comes to Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. And so,
don't disagree with that.
Like, well, because
I do not disagree.
But then Carl, then he's your leading rusher in week 1. Everybody's like, well, that's not according to game plan. That you can't. You're not. This is not what this offense is going to be. Right. This is out of necessity now, and this and that. But it's like, but okay, like, dude, you sought this job out for how long? You chose to come here. Like, this has to be at least like a cone shaped in a circle hole. So like, at least it's got to at least fit halfway through and then get too big or some shit. Like, dude, if this is just a mismatch, then I'm just overly concerned with the evaluation of talent and your ability to do so. And dude, I heard this thing was going to get built from the scratch. This is not, we're not going to do what the Lions did. No, we're catering this towards our guys. And then you do that and come out with Caleb as the leading rusher due to necessity, which isn't, it's just, none of it's not fluid here. And it doesn't fucking make sense to me. There's a lot of like mumbo jumbo right now. And we get that shit all the fucking time.
It sounds like you'd like to see a different quarterback, see what happens.
It's a new scheme.
I'm saying
with a second-year quarterback under a rookie head coach. You're going to have your growing pains. The specific point about, Caleb was our leading rusher, and Dave had said, the Bears offensive line played fantastic because they gave up no sacks or 1 sack. No, it's because Brian Flores came after Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams' God-given ability was allowing him to get out of the pocket, avoid the rush, and make chicken salad out of chicken shit, right? You guys say that all the time. So, I don't know. I'm definitely not getting the vibe of, it's a prearranged marriage. He doesn't like Caleb Williams, all this crap. They just got to figure it out, man. It's going to take time.
Yeah, no, and I hear you, and I do think that it's going to take steps forward and get more positive. To me, it just seems like the game plan was not executed for whatever reasons. And, dude, like I said, you have to have a standard for production.
Hold on.
And you have to live on that. And like, dude, and Caleb has to meet that. And if he doesn't, you have to be willing to entertain other options. You do, but that standard has to exist. You cannot just be married to him because you're married to him. Like, no, dude.
I agree. Especially if you're agreeing that Ben Johnson is this fucking mastermind, right? My thing is that the game plan is executed to the point that it's not. In the first half, it's easy to see a lot of, and we've seen this in the past, a lot of these quarterbacks that when they get these 15 plays built in and they get to practice them all week, they fucking run them to perfection. It's the most mediocre quarterbacks in the world that get to do that. The second half is all quarterback. Like it's your God-given ability to make plays. You run the system, you get the plays, you make the best out of what those plays are, and those plays can become. And Caleb Williams did not fucking capitalize at all in the second quarter. We're talking all about how the second quarter was lost. No, I'm sorry, the second half, not second quarter. I'm sorry, second half. And at the end of the day, Caleb played really fucking well when Ben Johnson was basically puppeting him. And as soon as it became a Caleb show, I think that guy just got nervous. I'm not saying he's not going to fix it. I think he can fix it. I think he's played incredibly well in the positions that he's been put in. Caleb. But if you are a Ben Johnson stan, then maybe we just start doing a half a quarterback type of thing. First half is Caleb. Second half is Tyson Bagent. Because, like,
insanity.
What the fuck? I'm joking, you fucking moron.
That's insanity.
But, like, I'm joking, you idiot. Clip that shit.
Yeah, it's facts.
But just
it's
like
what David wants.
Yeah, clip that shit. Fuck you. But, like, what I'm saying is, if every second, like, let's wait a few weeks. If the first drive or two goes really well in the next few weeks, and then the second half we lose every game, maybe there's a fucking reason for that. Let's find the consistent problem here.
Yeah.
Let's just find it. Like I said, this year is a year of figuring out what works and what fucking doesn't. And if Ben Johnson scheming works every first half and then Caleb playing every second half doesn't work, well then guess what the fucking common denominator is? So let's just figure it the fuck out. And I'm not saying it's either one right now, but let's fucking wait till week 2 to 6. It's not an unlimited leash. After week 1, that's my biggest, like, I'm dead set on that. I will argue that shit to my death. It is not a fucking 18-week leash. That is nonsense.
I got a question. As far as Cairo Santos is concerned, say we pull off a win, but he has another missed field goal in week 2 along the way. Even if we win, I was going to say, are you looking for a new kicker? David, you said yesterday you already are.
I fucking wanted a new kicker 2 fucking years ago. I fucking hate that guy. He can't kick a 46-yarder to save his life because he puts that shit on a trajectory lower than the fucking horizontal line. So get the fuck out of here. When the Detroit Lions rookie kicker, undrafted last year, was like the second best kicker in all of football. It's fucking kickers, dude. What are we talking about here? You're fucking paying Cairo Santos and retaining him for 5 years for being 17 out of 32 every year. I hate that fucking guy.
Okay. Carl?
I like Cairo Santos. I think that the stability is important with him. That was the first time that it was a true issue where you needed to kick the ball out of the end zone and it didn't go far enough.
He got blocked twice in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry?
Last year.
No, he said where he couldn't kick it out of the end zone. That was the first time you came across that situation. Carl, I don't know how often you come across that situation, though, to be honest.
No. Leg strength, right? Like, oh, no, we have to go for fourth down because we can't kick a 65-yard field goal at Soldier Field. Here.
Yeah, no, his leg strength has definitely
we just decide to not kick 50-yard field goals plus for the last 3 years.
Because
we just don't do it.
Richard Hightower said that he's confident in going 55. It's a little bit more than that.
He was also confident in kicking out of the end zone.
You bring up the Jake Bates guy. He's kicking in the dome. It's a little bit easier. Go build the dome at Arlington Heights, and then you can have this debate, whatever. My point is that I think it could be a lot worse off, and having the consistency there, I think, is more valuable than getting a guy who's able to kick a bigger, longer field goal, right? If you want to cut the cord and figure it out early and often, then fine. Go ahead. I think, talk about a fall guy, I think Richard Hightower could be on his way out if you need a scapegoat in the coaching department. And that's definitely why Cairo Santos and the rest of, guys like Daniel Hardy are still here, is because of the special teams. And it was a smart move to retain him through a huge coaching staff where you essentially got a new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, 2 head coaches on the side of the ball, right, with Dennis Allen. Whatever the case is here, I think you just wait it out, see what happens. If it becomes an issue, go ahead. I'm indifferent to it at this point.
So
don't get me wrong, he's going to play.
It wasn't an issue? So it's not an issue? Like, for me, it's an issue. It's an issue.
It's already an issue.
Right away.
Week 2.
Did he miss that field goal because he couldn't kick it far enough, or he just straight up missed it? I think he just straight up missed it. It's both.
It's because he had to put extra juice on a 48 fucking yarder that he gets out of his system.
But he was able to kick one in preseason from 58 with no trouble?
Because,
you see how it's wishy-washy here? It's Soldier Field, man. That's where I like the stability.
Justin Tucker is the most accurate kicker in all of the NFL.
Crazy.
In NFL history, Justin Tucker is the most accurate kicker in NFL history.
Carl,
because he Deshaun Watson some masseuses. But but Justin Tucker is out of a fucking job. He could go to every massage parlor in Baltimore. If that guy was kicking 60 yarders fucking consistently, he'd still have a job. He's not out of a job because he went to masseuses. He's out of a job because he started missing fucking field goals. It's that simple.
I think
Deshaun Watson is still being
the
paid.
Mental aspect there, it was weighing on him. So
you're saying getting massages was mentally impacting his field goal kicking?
I think they were saying, well, you're already paying me $500,000 to not say anything. I'm gonna need more. And he's like, fuck, I don't have the money.
And they all went to masseuses.
Carl's reasoning for keeping Cairo is essentially the fear that it could be worse. And
I genuinely don't see how that's possible.
Dude, this is a
statistically is very accurate.
But hold on. There's no team in the NFL that has kickers that consistently miss like 40 yarders. They just don't exist. 40 yarders are fucking gimmies. And we hang our hat on the fact that our kicker is so good at 40 yards and in. And it's like, look at how fucking great he is. Because he didn't fucking miss extra points. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, the guy can't make anything past 44 yards. My asshole clenches to the point where I can fucking make diamonds out of coal. Are we all kidding?
A 55-yarder in the playoffs from him. Are you
guys?
4th and 13.
I think you guys are just falling for the propaganda machine.
Yet another reason, David, to go on it on 4th and 13. No, I'm kidding. Dude, it's not propaganda machine. Carl, I've lived through it. Do you not remember Cody Parkey? Do you not remember just being like, oh, it's okay that he's just doinking him off the field goal post? Like,
who's doinking anything? He missed one goddamn field goal.
No, it cost you a game with Cody Parkey with Miami in
Week 5,
he is. And we were just overlooked it until it bit you in the worst possible spot. This is a position that, dude, you can find kickers out there that can kick under 40 yards to do that can kick 50 and 60 yards.
Go get Jonathan Kim. I don't care. Go ahead. It's not going to go as well and easy and smooth as you think.
Gentlemen, do I need to remind you who the Steelers' starting punter is?
No, who?
Is it the guy, Bill Burr? What are we talking about here?
His name is Corliss Waitman.
What about
Corliss Waitman? Is currently one of the top 5 punters in the NFL. He was an undrafted free agent drafted by the Chicago Bears. The same year.
Top 5 how?
He has a statistical. What do you mean? Per punt. Per punt average. One of the strongest legs. Best punting percentages. Corliss Waitman was an undrafted
small
free agent.
Sample size?
Was an undrafted free agent, and he was picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers last year after we released him because we took a 4th round punter.
And
we couldn't keep Corliss Waitman
in the 4th round, can't you? I'm pretty sure you can find those guys in the 4th round. Dude, when we talk about draft strategy and building a team, that is so important, and that's failed all along the way here in the last 3 years. I do just not back the roster construction from a draft standpoint that Ryan Poles has put together now over time. And like, this is what I was saying. Like, what impact did Colston Loveland make for you? Not much, right? So like, dude, this is rough. It's rough in a lot of different areas. And man, yeah, I'd say that
Also,
with the
every
kicker,
other
because the
first
kicker
round
you could just
offensive
shuffle
lineman-
through. Like, dude, you should not. This should not be an issue. It should not.
Let's see this, Carl.
So there, it's his career. I mean, you can see it dipped last year as far as the field goal percentage, but look in the last 2-3 years at 50 plus. 2023, 7 of 8. 2024, 8 of 9. You guys don't know what you're talking about. It's all emotion based.
0 for 1, 1 for 3, 0 for 2, 4 for 5. You're playing recency bias. That's such a recency bias. It's not even funny. You can't put up that whole sheet and present me with.
That's why he bounced around, and then once you got clowned around by dickhead Cody Parkey, you found your stability.
Look at his long. Is that preseason kick his longest of his career?
55. 55 is his career long, which happened recently.
51, 56, 54, 42. What are you, Carl? You're helping to support our point.
What are you reading off?
His career longs per year. He's never kicked longer than a 53-yarder other than 1 year.
The career long is 55. And
yeah,
he kicked 55 and 54 in the last 2 years.
55 is nothing in this NFL. Fucking Chris Boswell won a game against the Jets on a 60.
Yes, the Dallas kicker is very good. Jake Bates is very good. I get it. Go
Chris
find
Boswell's
a soccer player.
98 years old.
Talk about giving $15 million a year to a rookie head coach. I don't care. Go get Eden Hazard. Get him on Ozempic and ask Eden Hazard to start kicking. I don't know what you want.
You don't care? Chris Boswell kicked a 60-yarder to beat the Jets in week 1. And if you had Cody
I'm not comparing Chris Boswell to Cairo Santos.
If you had Cody
Chris
Santos
Boswell is not a middling
it wouldn't
little
even be
Cody
an
Parkey.
option. You eliminate game winners over 4 yards with this.
Why are we relying on a 60-yard field goal with a mastermind head coach with all this invested into the offense? The offensive scheme needs to operate better. That's a lot more of an important talking point than the kicker.
The scheme needs to operate better, but we go for it on 4th and 3.
Actually, no, because
you had the momentum. You had to grab the game by the balls because you realized, I didn't draft a running back until the 7th round. I don't have a running game. I don't have a player talented enough to take advantage and run through the open holes. I'm going to bounce outside like Barry Sanders, and I'm going to end with 3 yards per carry.
In a season is not momentum.
Carl, listen.
You absolutely need to capitalize on momentum in a game.
When me and David talked about the most disappointing parts of this game, number one for both of us was special teams. And Carl, you were with us when we talked about the expectations for this special teams is to be a top 5 unit this year. Okay? And so if that's the expectations, they definitely came way under that and failed you. Right? And you're in a situation where I'm telling you, if your quarterback doesn't get W's, he's going to be the head on the chopping block if your shitty fucking kicker cannot kick a 57-yard field goal to win a fucking game if you need to. That's what's going to happen here. Those W's need to come however they need to come. Kicker is very easily fixable.
Aaron Rodgers is the hero.
How can you say that?
Because
was it easily fixable when the Bears moved on
now, Aaron Rodgers
from Robbie
looks
Gould?
Like a hero. Aaron Rodgers looks like a hero this week. And Justin Fields looks like a fucking bum. And if Chris Boswell doesn't make a 60-yard field goal, it's the exact opposite. I'm dead serious.
Chris Boswell is a fringe Hall of Famer. I'm pretty sure he was been around for a couple Super Bowls.
I wanted to bring this up and talk about it because, Carl, in my opinion, you make that field goal and you're tied. Like that block punt, like these things
when the one
not happen.
The one he missed?
48 yards, which is super reasonable in the NFL.
Is expected to be a top 5
made
unit,
that kick.
And you made dramatic mistakes that lost this game for us. That's how I see it.
The missed field goal is a bigger issue to me than going for it on 4th and 3. I agree with that.
Hot take, Ben Johnson didn't trust Cairo Santos to make a 33-yarder.
That's funny as hell. No, I mean, he trusted his defense is what he did. He said, okay, pros versus cons. What happens if I don't make it? My defense is playing well. He relied on the defense. And he tried to grab the game by the ball. And he couldn't. It's fine. It's week 1.
Okay. Yeah, guys.
How many weeks of this before it rears its ugly head, though?
Colson Loveland had 38 snaps, played 57% rather of the snaps on the offense.
My ass off. Laugh so hard if in week 2 all we need is a fucking 58-yarder to beat the Lions at the end of the game. If we're even in that situation, I'm just going to start crying, laughing. Yeah.
You can try
it. It'll be great.
Will you make it? Who knows? You can try it.
You can't try a 58-yarder.
You can try it, Carl.
It's under 10%.
Bro, Cairo Santos made a 58-yarder in the sun at Soldier Field in preseason, albeit, but he made it and had room to spare. It would have been good from 60.
I've seen Mac Jones go fucking 10 for 12 in preseason.
Boom.
Mac Jones, the Pro Bowl quarterback for the Patriots?
Yeah. Yeah, the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers this week, by the way.
Guys, we're going on an hour 15. You got any thoughts about this upcoming matchup against the Lions you want to share before?
Yeah, we have to do official predictions.
Yeah, let's.
I'm not wavering for my spreadsheet.
Who do you want to start with?
Carl went first last week, and I went last, so I'll go first this week. Carl gets to go last. I kind of said what I think is going to happen. I think the Lions are just much more of a professional football organization. They're 3 years into a Dan Campbell experience. I think Ben Johnson's going to get very, very excited. I don't think he's going to be able to contain his personal computer brain here. I think he's going to make more mistakes than the Lions. I'm going to go 27-20 Lions loss.
You have the Bears losing to the Lions.
27-20 Lions.
2 weeks ago, you had the Bears winning.
I mean, recency bias, Carl. I also had the Bears losing in the first 5 minutes of the Vikings game, and then I had them winning by the time they chose not to go up 13-3. 13-0.
I am going to go 31-21 loss. Yeah.
I have them taking a loss as well, but I'd hate to go 27-24 again. How many points did the Lions give up?
You didn't go 24-17. You said 17-13 last game.
Me?
Yeah.
I gave you a numerical.
Correct. 17-13.
How many points did the Lions give up to the Green Bay Packers in this past game?
31.
27-31.
While Carl looks that up.
It's 27-13, so I think that the Bears... Can they score 27 on this team?
Nope.
Probably not. Lions will score more than 13. I'll go 24-7. No. Yeah, it doesn't matter. 24-17 Lions.
It's funny, Carl. I was on BCP after Matt Eberflus got fired midseason. And PJ was like, well, who out there was saying that he was a bad coach? And I was like, we were. We've been recording this shit. A year and a half in, me and David are just like, this is done. And then we suffered for another year and a half more after that. And so I just kind of, dude, if I hear somebody being like, well, who thought this was going to happen with Ben Johnson when this thing kind of goes off the rails? I swear to God, it's like, dude, this is why we predicted 6 wins. It is not a pretty path to get there either. It's going to look shitty. But this is where this team is at. And I think it's going to be a tough pill to swallow this year for a lot of fans. Just
Paulie's Polish ass is going to go full Unabomber, and our entire channel is going to become Paulie Receipts.
Oh, dude, yes. I just clipped.
Just clipping receipts every week.
Short here, short there. Yep. No, I mean, I'm not going to do that, but I do want to start off every episode by just saying, hey, this is where we had them. How do we feel about that? Dude, I hope to be wrong, but I cannot think of a time in the last several years where I have been in more of a, I need to see it to believe it phase than I am right now. I'm not even, crazy upset or surprised because I thought they were going to win. I thought they could catch them with their pants down. They kind of did. I thought they could hold on to it and pull it off, and then I still had them winning 6 wins.
Why do you think I'm mad, Paul?
But, like, dude, to me, it's just like, yeah, oh, of course they gave it up. Dude, I would be surprised if they didn't, right? Like, come on.
You don't give that game up if you take field goals, you run the ball, you game manage, you take a pick 6.
So
you don't lose that game if you don't fucking
situational.
Ben Johnson definitely today said
football was dog shit.
Someone asked Ben Johnson, I think specifically about Kyle Monangai. He said, "Why did Kyle Monangai have 0 carries?" He said, "I got to call more run plays." I think that's a fact, and I think that against the Lions, I'm not going to call it a get right game. I think that you're going to start to get a better idea of how to call your offense with Caleb Williams and the current collection of very young talent that the Bears have outside of DJ Moore.
We said this. We hope to Christ Ben Johnson. I think he's smart enough to fix his mistakes. I really do. But if
he
we preached
see the
that same dumb shit,
he
in
preached
week
that
2,
in your camp.
I mean,
right?
It's over.
Don't make 2 mistakes in a row. So, is he going to adhere to his own coaching?
You can say it all you want. If you don't do it, Matt Eberflus in week 1 against the Eagles called 100% cover plays and no man coverage. You can say whatever the fuck you want about how you're going to change and be innovative and all that shit. Matt Eberflus went Tampa 2, 100% of defensive snaps against the Eagles. Like, a leopard doesn't change its spots. Like, it just doesn't happen.
All right. Looks like we're going to have to wait and see. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week. And, hopefully this Sunday goes better. But I don't know.
0-2, baby.
In the division. Let's go.
Yeah. Shit.